Hi everybody, it's Grace. Welcome to Eating Peace. One of the most key moments, really the whole thing that we're studying when we're talking about eating peace, is why we go to war, why there's lack of peace, frustration, a churning, furious, wild feeling, whether it's outright binge eating, like with great anger that I once experienced like 25 years ago. Wow, it was so intense. I would be in a snowstorm. I was more than once living in Denver, Colorado, driving a small car around in a snowstorm to fast food places just to grab and get food and eat it with a vengeance. You know, it was like this huge rebellious, angry, kind of violent feeling of binge eating. Not everybody experiences binge eating to that degree and that level, but it's painful. And even other levels that are like steps down from that kind of experience, that kind of fury or passion with food and eating and gobbling. You can even have sort of a meandering kind of eating where you're graze eating, or you have empty time and you're eating through boredom or distress or subtler kinds of forms of feeling behavior. And then, of course, when we eat that's some way out of balance in our lives, out of order. They aren't called eating disorders for nothing. I like to say adaptive eating because I'm adapting to feelings that I have on the inside, and I'm using eating to go outside of what physical needs are to handle emotional needs, emotional eating. It's like I had so much going on with my feelings within, using food to handle those, the act of eating, rather than actually just feeling the feelings. And so we're studying this experience of compulsive behavior, reaching, whether it's food or anything. I want that other state. I don't like this one here. I don't like the present moment. And there are so many methods. There are brilliant things to help you relax and find peace and move into, the offers or suggestions or invitations to meditate and calm down and get yourself into sort of a more maybe positive thinking, And I find that could have never in a million years worked for me because I could hardly sit still. When I'm already engaged in that compulsive movement, it is so strong and so intense, how could I possibly remember to meditate in the middle of that moment? And I know I've suggested probably myself, can you relax, or can you start to write, write in your journal? And some people have said like, no, I could never start to write. It's too crazed. It's too difficult. The food is screaming and calling for me. Or, maybe it's a drink or a smoking or something like that. But I just really encourage you, even if it's not in the moment, to wait. This can be done after a binge is over. It always has a wave. You're never in that heightened state of turning up the volume to a 10 on your anxiety and craving and rushing and using of some sort of substance on the compulsion. You're never at the top volume all the time. You come down off of that. Something happens. You're not even controlling it really. It just can't sustain itself. So you come to a crashing point, You have to relax, you're exhausted. Well, right from that point, looking back and reflecting about what just happened, maybe slow the whole experience down, scene by scene. Notice when you first had the thought, eating, I'll go consume, or I'll go get a drink. Notice when that flashed before your mind, because I can guarantee you, if you weren't hungry, if it wasn't just a natural thing that is being called for in life in a fairly peaceful, simple way, then there was something else going on that was disturbing you. You were disturbed. There is a disturbance in the force. And to be able to identify what that is, what your feeling was, and see that feeling, this is what I always experienced. I'm so frightened of that feeling. I don't even want to admit it. It's too bizarre. It kind of speeds by quickly. But I am actually frightened of that feeling, and I don't want to feel it. I'm bored And I can't stand the thought of being bored in my life. It's uncomfortable. It's difficult. It's frightening, even. I don't want my life to be boring. I want it to be exciting all the time. My mind wants that. And I find, so this sense of sitting still, holding still, being done with work, just kind of relaxing, drifting or sinking into myself, or being alone, or being quiet, or having like a whole evening full of hours ahead of me, which is often when people feel like they move into their compulsive behavior. They've already worked all day. They've done their duty for life. They're engaged in whatever things that they have to accomplish and finish, and now they want a little reward or a little downtime. And it's hard to sit still. And they begin to think, and that's when drinking happens, or overeating happens, or whatever, or activities, going on the internet, surfing on the internet, doing whatever it is. There's a million things you can get addicted to and use compulsively, right? To escape those moments that are uncomfortable. So it's not like you can just jump to some wonderful feeling instead. It's going to be uncomfortable to sit for a moment. It's like, I sometimes think of it as being born it's a strong and intense and mysterious act. We don't even know how long it's going to take. They come in all kinds of forms, but actually, giving birth for baby and mother is a fairly stressful event, or it's an active event, it's an intense event. It's also a natural event. So there's something that's built in the way reality is, that this is what happens, this is what occurs. It's not just, I go to sleep and then it turns out I'm in a new world, outside of my mother's body instead of inside. Or that, same for the mother. It's an intense experience. And so opening up to that, I can actually look at whether it's anger and rage or discomfort or nervousness or boredom and all those feelings that I have, and then studying them. What are they there for? What are they saying? What have they come for to speak to me about? How am I looking at my life in that moment? What if I then did relax and just sit in the present and see what else is here in any given present moment? Could I just stay put right here without needing to move forward? The very act of reaching, the compulsive, is doing something. It is reaching. I must get away from this moment here, or this feeling, and do something to enhance it in the future, to give myself a better moment, something more interesting. And of course, these destructive things that we do, when it's eating, drinking, smoking, and we don't really want to be doing them, there's an after effect that feels horrible. We are sick because they don't really work. They're very temporary. They work temporarily. It's nice to notice that they do work temporarily, so you're not completely insane. You put something in your mouth, and the taste of it, it does change your feelings. It reorients your whole moment just for a little while. The problem is it's very temporary, and you still have those smashed down feelings all suppressed inside of you, waiting to come out another time when they're triggered. So you just aren't going to be able to get away from it. You can escape temporarily. It's like running and hiding. You're hiding underneath something for a little while. It's stressful. You just want to be able to be out in the open and be free, be real, be authentic. So my greatest suggestion, I've said it before, journaling, writing. You can talk to somebody too. Call somebody right at the moment when you have an empty night and you feel like you're going to start eating. Human connection, contact. Begin to speak about your feelings. Notice what your thoughts are. When you write, your thoughts become clearer and clearer and clearer. I suggest to people, write only for 5 minutes. You can still go eat. Don't force yourself to be making up rules about not eating, although you will have greater peace if you don't. But just, if you feel too panicked and it's difficult, just begin to write, because you're going to capture gold in those thoughts. And then you can inquire with them. Then you can say, are they true? Can I really know that they're true? What would it be like if I didn't have this thought? Is there another way I can get my needs met or feel this feeling rather than push it away? All right. Let me know how it goes. Take care. Bye-bye.